Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Cultural Coast. I'm Theresa, and I'm possibly the first one that said yes to Spirit's call for a new spiritual community on the southwest of Florida. Center for Spiritual Living Cultural Coast. We are deeply steeped in creativity, thus the name, Cultural Coast, which, if you don't know, again, is on the southwest of Florida, but it's from Anna Maria Island down to Inglewood, this beautiful stretch of land that is rich with cultural history, heritage, arts, fine arts, dance, opera, theater, and music, super music here. So it's really a mecca. It's a mecca for the arts. And it's part of our mission statement to include creativity and the arts in what we do, in how we bring this idea of spirituality to the world, and in a way that we live it and experience it on a 24/7 basis, yeah? And so included in our core values are peace, love, and authenticity. Authenticity. And of course, community. And in that, we create the container where everyone is seen and valued as unique and divine expressions of the one source and substance of all life, which is what I know each one of you are. So we create sacred space. Sacred space, even here through the internet, across the globe, where I recognize that individually and collectively we are exploring who and what we are, and we are rising to our very highest and best. We are evolving into our very highest and best, recognizing that life is dynamic. It's dynamic. It's always in movement. It's always a flow. It is always creative, always creating through us. And so our theme for this whole month of October has been creativity. And we started the month with sacred chant, allowing ourselves to fall in and be present, to be present to what is moving in as and through us. And then the second week, we talked about this universal process, this creative intelligence, the creative process, and that was presented by our practitioners. And then last week, we talked about inspiration from music, which I really love. I relied heavily on some of the inspiration I received from Victor Wooten and also Matthew Fox, which again, I'm using this morning as some of my inspiration. So today, I'm continuing the conversation, yes, about creativity, and specifically about its infinite supply and accessibility, because it's its nature. It's unlimited. It's unlimited, and it's as near as our breath. It is always moving in, as, and through us. It's the very pulse within you now. Yeah? So we're going to take a look this morning and possibly learn how we can tap into that in a way that really helps with our creative thinking and innovation. So let's take this idea now into prayer, just to set the tone for why we're here, who we are, what it's all about. Because I recognize within myself and each one of us that there is something with the capital S stirring. There is something. There is this urge, a surge, a burning within us to express life freely and fully, maybe in a greater way than ever before. So we tune in and tap into that, to that something this morning. We listen deeply with our ears, our eyes, our whole being. We listen to the music and the reading and the message and the sharing, and we listen for that congruency, that alignment within ourselves that says, oh yeah, this I know, this I see in my imagination, and I bring it forward. For I know there's a power and a presence that supports, that loves and supports that desire within us. I'm so grateful for all the ways creativity shines in me, in you, in this spiritual community. I know creativity is a cosmic habit, and it is calling you forward in participation, here, now, this day. And so it is. So be it. So let it shine. Let it go. I'm thrilled that you're here with me this morning. We've got a really great morning planned, and we're going to start off with one of our just beloved musicians, Emily Ross, who is a Sarasota native singer-songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, a beautiful heart, a beautiful woman, someone I consider my friend, and I'm so happy that she shines her light and shares with us this morning. Emily.
So before I start my first song, I just wanted to say thank you so much for listening to me today, talking about creativity. It's one thing to make something that is from a very vulnerable place within yourself, and then it's another thing to be blessed with an audience that will openly listen to that place within you, that vulnerable place. So thank you so much for giving me a platform to be able to share my music with you, and you're all such beautiful people, and I'm just very grateful for this opportunity. So from the purest, truthfulest place in my heart, thank you so much. So this is a song of mine called Burning Wanderer, and it's about creating the world that you want to live in. So when I was in college, I had a realization of I'm not living the way that I want to. This isn't what I want. And so I kind of wrote a song about, I guess, like a change of pace. So this is Burning Wanderer. Living in haste, perpetual days. Life's a mystery that I forgot to create. Time is a flame and I don't know my destination. Moments erased, not living in the right location. Looking ahead before it's too late. My mama always taught me that life is a state, and it goes like a cannonball, throwing you fast, it feels nothing at all, and it pulls like a waterfall. If you follow a path with no direction, you'll stall. Give me slow, moving people that are enjoying every minute. Let me walk so that I can grow out of my crawl. I'm making my way so I don't fall. Hold on to the people that'll love you hard. Raise them to the sky and feel who you are. Ashes burn quickly, idle hands are for the devil. Your words are my gifts that I can always handle. Give me more before it's too late. My mama always taught me that life is a state, and it goes like a cannonball, throwing you fast, it feels nothing at all, and it pulls like a waterfall. If you follow a path with no direction, you'll stall. Give me slow, moving people that are enjoying every minute. Let me walk so that I can grow out of my crawl. I'm making my way so I don't fall. So I don't all give me slow. Oh, moving people that are enjoying every minute. Let me walk so that I can grow. Oh, out of my crawl, I'm making my way so I don't fall. So I don't fall. Am I living on flames or am I living beneath them, neath them? Am I living on flames or am I living beneath them, neath them? Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Jennifer Johnston, your reader today. I'll start with a quotation from a 2017 Science of Mind magazine with Albert Einstein on the cover, titled "The Exploration of Imagination." If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to, do it. Want to change the world? There's nothing to it. There is no life I know to compare with pure imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you truly wish to be. Willy Wonka in the song Pure Imagination. Here are two Thomas Troward quotes that I put into a shadow box. Hopefully you can see it with the glare here. I made this as a project in Roots class with Reb G. The top quotation reminds me, your soul belongs to the universe. The bottom one says, the originating life principle is infinite. Wherever it is at all, the whole of it must be present. I included in my shadow box an ibis feather and a couple of seashells. I feel closest to Creator in nature. So a shadow box is a great way for me to enjoy some creativity. Here are two poems I wrote about nature. All your glory. In the curvature of your bark, I see you dancing, limbs reaching for the clouds, energy coursing through your root veins, exhaling oxygen. The folds in your weathered trunk like wrinkles. The wind brushes your hair. Birds alight on you to eat, to sing, to rest. Squirrels scamper up your spine. Shiny new leaves sprout from your broken branches. Rejuvenation, photosynthesis. A network of roots nourish and sustain you. I gain strength from your life. The second poem is about a day in Oscar Scherer State Park here in Sarasota. A walk. Prickly pear cactus blooming yellow, growing in fine white sand, once the sea floor. A deer taller than me bounds by, black nose, brown eyes, white tail on alert. Stinging wind and heat of the sun on my face. A tortoise perfectly still amidst the greenery. Pileated woodpecker taps, wind rustling the trees. A school of fish swims circles around me. The smell of pine needles and the solitude of campers swinging in hammocks. Cardinals sing, sweet, sweet. Wings flap. At Big Lake, a white egret wades and waits. My mental canvas is washed clean of worries. Eyes, ears, nose refreshed. Enveloped by the woods, the wonder of nature's diversity. I am asked for directions by hikers twice. My home, my heaven. And now back to Emily.
Hello again. So I'm going to talk about what inspires me musically, or just creatively, but specifically with music. So the top 4 things are the healing aspect of music, how it can heal people. The second thing that I'm most inspired by are the people that are closest to me. The third one is authenticity, when someone's being really authentic. And the fourth thing is newness or change. So, okay, so talking about the first one, the healing properties of music. So the first song that I ever listened to, like not the first song I ever listened to, but the first song I ever really, really loved. I think I was probably like 4 or 5, and I just remember loving Goodbye Yellow Brick Road by Elton John. Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. And I remember like listening to it every single day and just loving it so much. I've always felt music so deeply. It is always just, I even today I'm brought to tears by certain songs. There's some songs that I can't even listen to because I'm like, that's just gonna take me to a crazy place. Like, music's just so great. And so then in middle school, I was going through a really hard time. My parents were getting divorced, and I really leaned into music at that time, and I really feel like without that music, I don't know if I would have gotten through that. And specifically, it was this band called Linkin Park, and it's like screaming and rock, and I needed that at the time, and I really feel like it healed me. So the fact that I have felt so healed by music inspires me, because I'm like, maybe I can do that for somebody else. Maybe there's a chance that I want to give back to music what music has given me. So that's the first one. The second one, okay, so the people who are closest to me. So the first time I ever thought about writing a song was when I was 15. I met this girl named Mona, and to this day she's my absolute best friend. We're gonna be best friends forever. That's just how it goes. So Mona wrote songs just on the side, like in her bedroom. She just had like 20 songs that she just wrote, and for no one to hear, just like on the side. And I just thought that was so cool. And so one day she just wanted to show me her songs that she wrote, and it just absolutely opened up my eyes to writing music, because she was so vulnerable and she closed her eyes, and I felt like she was sharing this beautiful part of herself with me, and it was so real and so true. And I was like, wow, so that's what writing, you can write a song just about your feelings, like you can just do that. And it was just so cool. And so she really did inspire me to write, because I was like, okay, so I don't necessarily need to show anyone these songs. I could just write for myself. I could just write from my perspective, and who cares if no one listens to it. And that's just kind of how it started. And I would show her my songs, and she would show me hers. And yeah, ever since then, I mean, I am mostly inspired by the people closest to me, not even with writing music. Even if someone just draws a picture, or it just has something that they create, I'm constantly inspired by the people that I'm around, mostly because I can touch them, and they just feel really real. So yeah, the people who are closest to me. And then authenticity. So past or present, if there's someone even who's like famous who isn't close to me, if they're doing something that's really authentic, meaning that they're just like outside the box, they take the box, they throw it away, they're doing their own thing, I'm very inspired by that, because I guess the opposite of that, what holds me back creatively, is thinking that I have to fit in these certain parameters, or thinking that I can't say this and I can't play that because it has to be this certain thing and I have to look the certain way. And that's not inspiring to me at all. I don't want to be a robot. I want to be different. But it's hard. It takes a lot of bravery and strength. And so you kind of need like those pioneers, like those people who kind of like pave the way. And there are people out there like that, and those people are very inspiring to me. And then last thing is change or newness. So whether it's like a new instrument or a new place where I am or a change in my life. And most of the time it's been like pain that's happened where it's a painful change, but still that pain's inspiring because it's something new. It's a new thing I'm feeling, and it's inspiring to me because I'm like, wow, this is different. I want to write about this, or I want to explore this. So yeah, so those are my top 4 things. And if you've never created anything before, I guarantee you that you have, because I just feel like it's human to be creative. Because even when you think about problem solving, that's creative. Like if you have a problem and you need to come up with a creative solution to it, I mean, that's just what being human is. So I feel like if you apply that same thing, like if you apply your problem solving brain to just doing something creative, because all creativity is, I feel, is just putting yourself into something, because the opposite would be just being a robot, like just doing the same thing that everyone else is doing. Like you have to put yourself into it, and then it's creativity. And it's back to what Susie and Len were saying last week about you have to take your fear out of it. You can't let your fear get involved, and once you let your fear go, you can let the creative spirit run through you, and just whatever happens happens. Don't be judgmental of it. Just with anything you do, just I'm not attached to it. Whatever happens happens. All I know is I'm free. I'm just letting it just come out of me. Whatever happens happens, and if someone likes it, cool. That's kind of the attitude that I feel like is conducive to creativity. But yeah, thanks for listening, and here's my next song. This next song I wrote is called Rise, and originally I wrote this song about the passing of a loved one and using the good parts of them and living on in the memory of them. But I thought it could be applied to today, like taking the creative spirit and letting that, allowing it to rise up within you to use it for any of your creative pursuits. So here's Rise. Once upon a dream of mine, I was by your side, rising from the ground where I lie. I am quite alright as the earth gives birth. It will take them away down to the ground. Through the roots they will stay, but I will take you to the places you knew, somewhere you can have room. I wanna see you dancing wild, spread across the sky, one with the sunlight. Feel you moving by me as I look out to see where we used to be. Darkness, cure my unrest, and your strength, it burns like fire. I'm radiated, I'm what you created. 'Cause once upon this year I was frozen, stuck inside my walls, afraid to lose Thank you very much.
Emily. Thank you. Thank you for sharing of yourself so freely. Putting your vulnerability into your songs and sharing with us your creative process there. I love that. And a lot of that, very much of that, I'll be sharing in my talk. It seems like we're right on the same page with a lot of your points and the ones I wanted to share this morning. And thank you to Jennifer for your sharing. Love your poems. Love the shadow box. And thank you. So Jennifer referred to a Science Mind magazine. I think she said from 2017. I want to open with referring to last Friday's from this month's magazine. Ernest Holmes is sharing about where energy in life comes from. And this is the same creative intelligence, the same energy in the acorn that makes the forest, right? It's the same thing. And so think about the energy in your car battery, the energy that fuels your home's electricity. Energy, all energy, is birthless, deathless, changeless. It's everywhere present. The real source of that energy is birthless, deathless, changeless, everywhere present. Everything is filled with it. We get energy, Ernest Holmes said, from the waterfall, the windmill, the coal, the oil, the wood, and I'm going to add the sun. And he says, but we don't put the energy in those mediums. We take it out. We take it out. We use it, actually, right? Nature stored it there, and we use it. He gives an example of a waterfall, says set up the generator next to the waterfall, and we can use the natural energy coming off of that waterfall, and it continually replenishes itself. How fabulous. I love to think of those kinds of things. And so there's that energy within you that is replenishing, revitalizing. It's a power that we breathe, that we live and move and have our being in. It is all around us. It is within us. We are made of it. And it is infinite in its supply. Infinite. Now, there may be a limit to our natural resources, but spirit in you is unlimited. Unlimited. And you can use it. You can claim it into form, bring it into being. New ideas and images are emerging everywhere all the time. So from Homer to Paul McCartney to Emily, we see it, and they are being used by it. We see that process, don't we? We recognize it. We receive the impulse of this energy, this presence, this power, this creative impulse. It is within us, and when we open to it, we can use it. And it's omnipresent. There's an omnipresence to this energy, this creative genius within us, and it's generative. It's generative. Everywhere present all the time, in the light and in the dark, as Emily said, in our joy and in our pain. It's really what ignites us. It's what brings us to life. Yeah? And it doesn't wait. It doesn't wait for special occasions. You are the special occasion. You are the special occasion for that energy to move in, to create through. I shared this quote last week, and I just love it. Matthew Fox, where he says that there's this universal cosmic habit, and we, you and I, are invited to participate in it. How cool is that? And continuing to paraphrase him, then he talks about that creativity constitutes really what it means to be human. Think about that, what it means to be human. It's what separates our species from the others. See, we choose how to use it, how to allow it to motivate us. Takes courage, as Emily said, doesn't it? It takes courage. Matisse, the French artist, Henri Matisse, he said that another word for creativity is courage. They're synonymous with one another. There's a rawness about creativity. It's exposure. It's exposure. We're exposing ourselves. But as I opened with sharing some of our core values at the Center for Spiritual Living Cultural Coast, we encourage that. We are creating environments, fostering our authenticity, our unique way of being in the world, of being that divine incarnation. There's a unique expression within you, within me, within all of life. And so we're learning to step more fully, freely into that with passion. With passion. Transcending our fears, transcending those erroneous beliefs, those thoughts that we're not good enough. And let us reclaim our worth from other people's ideas of who we're supposed to be. It takes courage. It takes courage. It takes courage to push past all of that and to allow ourselves to feel deeply into our wounds, which is what we're always being called to do. And that's juice for our creativity, as Emily was saying. To express spirit freely and fully takes courage. To create the world that you want to live in takes courage. And it's what it means to be human. Thomas Merton said, art enables us to find ourselves and lose ourselves at the same time. Don't you love the paradox in life? You know, creativity and innovation can be messy and wild. It can be messy and wild. And it adds to our growth, though, and our human potential. Passion, there's a passion in us, an urge within us, a fire like Emily's talking about. Am I living in the flames or am I living beneath them? Ask yourself that. Because that is what is here to spur your authentic expression, that authentic spontaneity into being from within you, from deep within you. You know, creativity isn't just on the canvas or on a record. Architects and designers, designers of clothing and food and, homes and products of all kinds, cars, they're constantly designing, creating something new, something better. Gardening, cooking healthy foods, which was one of the things added yesterday to our ongoing list on our Facebook group page about how we create, how we allow creativity to move through us. Cooking good, healthy foods, gardening in a way that is good for us and the planet. How about teaching as creativity? Capturing a student's attention and sparking within them that desire to know more. To know more. I consider myself creative. I consider myself a creative thinker and innovator. It took courage to start this community, and it was birthed through what felt like pain of betrayal, and it spurred my growth. And 11 months after opening, there was more turbulence, more turmoil. It was a worldwide pandemic, right? 11 months after we opened. And it has taken creative thinking, it has taken innovation to keep us connected and growing. But that's Spirit's work in me. That's the surge in me that says I can't not do this. That's the work of the artist, isn't it? Matthew Fox said this: the artist finds himself or herself vulnerable to beings and events and takes the time to experience them in depth. We wake up to being, to what is, to the great depth and mystery. Oh, may we all awaken from our slumber. I want to share with you 6 characteristics that define creative thinking. I get these from a class that I took with Dr. Janelle Barlow. The first characteristic of creative thinking is fluency of ideas. Fluency of ideas. And what she's talking about here is like how quickly we can make up answers to questions. The challenge is to see the connections that are within the fabric of life itself. Creative people then have a flexibility about them to sort through information, quickly choose best answers. Think about a quarterback. He's got a split second, right, to make a decision. The same thing for a mother and her child that's wandering into danger. Split second. And in that split second, there's a big picture. The quarterback sees the whole field and all the players, his team and the other team. The parent sees her child and consequences of what's getting ready to happen that may affect her in later years. Big picture, right? Whole field, future developments. Me, I deliver a 20 to 30 minute talk on Sunday mornings. I have a point to make to inspire you to live your best life. It's a challenge at times, right? But there's exercises we can do, and there's an exercise specifically that we want to be able to rapidly devise numerous choices. To sift through all the infinite possibilities that there are. And this comes with practice. We can practice this, and it proves the point that Maya Angelou was trying to make when she said, you can't use up creativity. You can't. You can't use it up. The more you use, the more you have. So if you want to tune into our Zoom after this morning's message, it's usually right about 12 o'clock, and I'll post the link. We're going to talk about some of these exercises to help strengthen our fluency muscles, So creativity and innovation invites us to let go and to play in the possibilities, to just play in the possibilities. So the second characteristic that Dr. Barlow gives us of creative thinkers is suspending judgment. Suspending judgment. It's hard to welcome new ideas when we feel like we're being evaluated, critiqued, criticized, judged. Emily spoke about that, didn't she? But if you practice something like brainstorming, you don't get into the analyzing aspects of it. Brainstorming is group activity usually, and it's rapid firing of ideas. Again, without evaluating and analyzing, without considering the validity of it, without considering, is this a good idea or a bad idea? Would this work? Is it right? Is it wrong? You're just in the flow of ideas, letting them go. And studies show that we get a higher quality of ideas when we delay judgment. Dr. Barlow said, people rarely produce their best ideas immediately because they refine their knowledge of the problem as they search for the answers. Think about that. Of course that's true. So first choice usually, she says, is mediocre, but persistence produces better solutions. So we want to let go of that fear. Remember last week when I was sharing about Victor Wooten saying, there's no wrong notes. Use it. Use it. This coming week, On Tuesday and Thursday, I'm doing a workshop, a Fear to Faith workshop, which is a technique that helps us uncover, unbind, and release those hidden beliefs behind habitual behaviors that we have. Habitual behaviors that keep us stuck. You know what I'm talking about. So the third trait that Dr. Barlow talks about is having the ability to tolerate ambiguity. To tolerate ambiguity. You know, let me ask, how comfortable are you with the uncertainties of life? Are you just one of those people that hate not knowing something? Well, those are blocks to creativity. We want to be able to be open to the infinite possibilities all the time. Remember, there's an infinite supply everywhere available all the time. We want to remain open and receptive to that. So part of that would be accepting the conflict, the chaos, the loss, the difficulties that we come up against in life. We don't want to be fighting against anything. We want to be in the flow of everything. Psychologist and philosopher Erich Fromm said it this way: to be aware of these conflicts, to experience them deeply, as Emily and I are suggesting this morning, is to accept them, not just intellectually, but in feeling. And he says that that's one of the conditions for creativity. So when we go deeply into life, really, there's no shortage of inspiration, is there? There's no shortage of inspiration. So then the fourth characteristic is to stay flexible. To stay flexible and to use our sense of imagination, our ability to imagine. You know, lots of people think that they don't have a good imagination, that they can't close their eyes and see things and imagine things. But I'm going to steal here from Mary Mann Morrissey when she says, "Let your child be late coming home." Yeah, and your mind's going to conjure up all kinds of visions. So I know you can do it. We all can do it. It's part of being human, right? And the trick is we want to use it in a profitable way. We want to use it in a good way, right? Dr. Marlowe says innovative approaches demand flexible thinking. Flexible thinking. See, what we're seeing here, what I'm talking about here, is rigidity of any kind closes the door to creative thinking and to innovation. So here's an exercise. Play what if. Play what if with yourself and be outrageous with it. Be outrageous with it. What if, here's mine, what if every person woke up to their spiritual magnificence? What if every person woke up to their spiritual magnificence? Wouldn't everyone then have plenty of food? Wouldn't everyone get a great education? Wouldn't everyone feel free to explore their own individuality, their own authenticity, their own unique nature? Wouldn't freedom of expression be the norm for us? And could you just imagine the fantastic discoveries that kind of awareness would bring forward? What kind of inventions we would have? What kind of innovations? What if? What if? One caveat to this what if, and research proves that Jesus was right all along. That what you believe matters. What you believe matters. You have to believe in these possibilities that you're creating in your imagination. You have to believe the what ifs. Believe them. Believe them. And that brings me to number 5. You want to fall in love with your subject matter, right? Whatever it is. So the 5th characteristic then is focus and immersion. Focus, study, immersion, falling in love with it, whatever it is. So I ask, is there a place for study then in creativity? We think of creativity as free form, right? Innovating, improv. So is there a place for study in it? Absolutely. Art theory, music theory, studying spiritual principles. I've been studying the science of mind for a very long time. Absolutely, there's a place for it. It's like you're jumping off point. Thomas Berry talks about this as a tension between wildness, spontaneity, unique expression, and discipline. A wildness of spontaneity and discipline. And that tension is creativity. A key to this, Barlow tells us, is that creative people get really involved. Like I said, fall in love with your subject matter. I want to give you two examples here. Simone Biles. She's considered an artistic gymnast, right? An artistic gymnast. She has 32 Olympic and world medals to her name. And she has 4 signature moves that are uniquely hers. Very creative woman. The Biles, which is one of her moves, was a creative solution to a torn calf muscle. She had to find a different way to land, right? So she turned a weakness into a strength and made history, and continues to do so with her bravery and courage. We're seeing that today. Another example, Pablo Picasso. He's got some bizarre works of art, I think a lot of people would think. Did he even study? Did he even study art theory? The basics? Yeah, he did. He did. And if you look at his artwork when he was 14 or 15 years old, it perfectly depicted what you see on the surface of life. But you know what happened? He got immersed in his subject. He got immersed in life, And so he painted then from what he felt, what he was feeling. So he had the rose period where he was feeling warmth and beauty, and the blue period, depression, and seeing the unjust, the gross injustices in society. See, we use life. We use life to portray it in our art and in our innovations, and in turn, life stimulates our creativity and our evolution. So finally, Dr. Barlow's 6th trait of creative thinking, a preference for disorder. Now, this isn't like you want to live in a messy house. This is asymmetry. This is letting go of the box, getting rid of the box, letting it go, and recognizing that all life isn't about straight lines, right? And that repetition is boring. The Creator is changeless. However, its creation, always changing, always growing, always being informed with newness, right? So allow yourself to paint outside of the lines, to sing loudly and dance wildly, and think creatively, imagining freely from your heart. And remember that we do not create this energy within us. We distribute it. So, I ask, how will you choose to let creativity move through you? What challenges, personal challenges, can you use as fuel to create something new? And how can you apply creativity and innovation to something that you care very deeply about? We're going to ask these questions and look at some ideas for exercises to help build our creative thinking muscles in our Zoom. I hope you join me. Thanks for being here this morning. And now we're going to go back to Emily.
So this next song that I wrote is called The Winter Song, and it's just about keeping your faith in whatever it is that you believe in, even in your darkest hour. So here you go. by inch, it grows over my home. Here am I by myself, feeling like I could use some help. I'm overwhelmed. Oh, call to me, so soft and sweet. Oh, I still believe, like a memory. I long to see. Oh, fill me with your peace. Oh, have I grown cold through it all? The sun is gone. With this I meet my wall. It's 10 feet tall. And what if I am growing old? And what if I'm a story never told? Oh, call to me, so soft and sweet. Oh, I still believe, like a memory. I long to see. Oh, tell me you love me. Sometimes it's just too dark to move. Sometimes I forget I still have you. Oh, call to me, so soft and sweet. Oh, I still believe, like a memory. I long to see. Oh, fill me with your peace. Oh, call to me, so soft and sweet. Oh, I still believe, like a memory. I long to see. Oh, tell me you love me. Thank you.
Whew, how lucky are we to have Emily sharing from her heart. reaching to our hearts. I'm going to start with a short little reading from the Book of Awakening by Mark Nepo. It's daily readings. And this morning's reading started with a quote from Lao Tzu. It said, "Be content with what you have. Rejoice in the way things are. When you realize there is nothing lacking, the whole world belongs to you." And at this moment in our program, in our existence as a Center for Spiritual Living Cultural Coast, each of us realizing that the whole world belongs to us, that we have, there is indeed nothing lacking, as Mark Nepo goes on to say in his writing for the morning, is the place we need to be. That place where we express freely from our hearts representing all that we have to express, just knowing that we have it all already. So knowing that we have received and are receiving constantly that thing that is within us that we simply seek to reveal. I know that there is one source, one power, one existence, one beingness that flows in as and through each one of us. It is the abundance of all things. Simply go look at a tree and all the leaves to know the infinite abundance of nature, of the world, of spirit, of you. So this morning I bless the giver and I bless the gift, knowing that as we give forth from that infinite abundance that belongs to each one of us, we are creating powerful ministry through the Center for Spiritual Living Cultural Coast, through Reverend Theresa, through Bobby and his music, and all the musicians like Emily that come forth, and the individuals such as Jennifer Johnson sharing her wonderful creativity and knowing that she is on her way to being a practitioner this year. Just knowing that it is all good, all God, all done, all right here and right now. I am grateful, and so it is.
Thank you very much, Rev G. Thank you. I receive the gift of life and pass it on. I receive the gift of love and pass it on. I receive the gift of joy and pass it on. I receive all good and pass it on. I receive the gift of life and pass it on. I receive the gift of love and pass it on. I receive the gift of joy and pass it on. I receive all good and pass it on.
Thank you. I'm just going to pass on a few thoughts right now, just a couple of announcements. Thank you, first off, for being here with us this morning. I know I went a little long-winded, as I did maybe just a tad last week too, but I'm so enthused with this topic. And I want to invite you, if you're on Facebook, to go to our Facebook group page and find that post about creativity and add your pictures and your thoughts to how you create and what that all looks like, creativity and innovation for you. We've got some really great sharing going on there, and I'm enjoying it a lot. Just a reminder about the Fear to Faith workshop, Tuesday morning, Tuesday the 26th at 9:30. It's 2 hours, and Thursday at 6 p.m. So if you work, you can maybe do the Thursday one. Make sure you're on our email list so that you get our information. And also just a reminder that our annual meeting is November 14th, and our membership, Stand Up and Be Counted, has been going really well. I just appreciate everybody that's gotten your name in to me, your renewal or yes, I'm a new member, and that shows that you're aligned with this message. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart from tuning in. I thank you for sharing this, for sharing the link, sharing these videos, sharing our posts, the message. That's really how change is going to happen for us, right? Is the more people that wake up to the spiritual magnificence that they are. So I want to close just with a prayer this morning. Simply knowing that I am immersed in and surrounded by this thing called God, by whatever name, an energy, a presence, source and substance, really of all life, of everything that I see. And it is inherent in everything. That means me. That means every person everywhere. All things are alive with this energy and beauty and creative intelligence. And it is unconditionally loving. Always supportive. Always active and animated in life itself. It's the fire, it's the charge in life, it's the charge in me now and in everyone. And so I call it forth in its brilliance, call forth the divine artist, creating through each and every one of us, so that we live in a world where everyone has awakened to their spiritual magnificence, where everyone knows the superpowers that reside within. And with confidence and clarity and creativity, release them so that we truly live in a world that works for all. This and nothing less. I release this knowing its truth, its power. The creative impulse of the universe is at work here, now. And so it is. So be it. Thank you, beloveds. Thanks for being with us this morning. Mwah. I love you. Tune in to the Zoom. I'm going to post the link right now.